You know that bottle of olive oil sitting in your kitchen? We all have one. We drizzle it on salads, we cook with it, we love it. It feels simple, right? Ancient and wholesome. But what if I told you that the world of olive oil is packed with secrets, incredible science, and even some serious scandal? Let's find out what's really going on inside that bottle. It's amazing to think that for thousands of years, the olive tree has been this incredible symbol of peace, of wisdom, of life itself. A Roman writer, Columella, even called it the first of all trees. And you can see why. Its oil wasn't just food, it was their medicine, their fuel, a truly sacred liquid. So that's the beautiful historic ideal, right? But the reality of a modern grocery store shelf, well, that can be a totally different story. The journey from those ancient groves to your kitchen is, believe it or not, a really complicated one. And somewhere along that path, things can go very, very wrong. And that is the mystery we are going to unravel today. So here's our roadmap. We're going to go beyond the bottle to see where quality really begins. We'll follow the olive from the grove all the way to the mill, and we're going to decode what extra virgin actually means. Then, we'll get into the shady side, the counterfeit industry, before we talk about the incredible health benefits of the real stuff. And we'll wrap it all up with a super practical guide to help you find and keep good oil. To really, truly understand olive oil, you have to think beyond what you see on the shelf. The story of its flavor, its quality, its health benefits, that doesn't start in a factory. It starts out in the field, with the soil, the sun, and the tree itself. So our journey really begins in the olive grove. This is ground zero for quality. It isn't just about planting a tree and waiting. It's the first and, honestly, the most critical step in making a great oil. Everything matters here: the soil, the climate, and especially the exact moment the olive is picked. Okay, check out this amazing sustainable practice called green cover. So instead of having bare dirt between the olive trees, farmers let grasses and other plants grow. This isn't just for looks, it's a total game changer. It literally protects the soil from washing away, it helps the ground soak up more water, and it naturally feeds the soil, creating this perfect foundation for healthy, super flavorful olives. Now, deciding when to actually harvest the olives, that's a true art form. As an olive ripens, it goes from green to black, and this one decision completely shapes the final product. If you pick them early, when they're green, you get this bold, peppery, sometimes even bitter oil. But if you wait until they're ripe and black, the oil becomes way milder, buttery, and sweet. Neither one is better than the other. It's all about the style of oil you're trying to create. Once those olives are picked, it is a race against the clock. They're rushed to the mill, usually within just a few hours. The process itself is pretty straightforward, but every step is crucial. First, they're cleaned up. Then they get crushed, pits and all, into this thick paste. Next, that paste is slowly mixed, a process called malaxation. And finally, a centrifuge spins everything like crazy to separate that pure, beautiful oil from all the water and solids. Now, of all those steps, malaxation is arguably the most important one. It's the slow, gentle stirring of the olive paste that lets all those tiny little droplets of oil come together so they can be released. How long you mix it and at what temperature has a huge impact not just on how much oil you get, but on the oil's final flavor, its aroma, and all those healthy antioxidants. This is where a master miller really shows their skill. Okay, we see extra virgin on pretty much every bottle, right? But what does it actually mean? I promise you, it is not just some fancy marketing phrase. It's a specific, legally defined, international standard of quality. It's the highest grade an olive oil can possibly get, and the rules are incredibly strict. So to earn that extra virgin label, the oil has to be extracted using only machines, no chemicals, no solvents, no excessive heat that could damage it. But how it's made is only half the story. The final product also has to be, well, perfect. It has to taste and smell like fresh, fruity olives and have absolutely zero flavor defects. None. And to prove it's perfect, an oil has to pass two totally different hurdles. First, it goes to a lab for a chemical analysis that checks for things like acidity to make sure it's not degraded. But that's not enough. It also has to pass a sensory test, basically a blind taste test by a certified panel of experts who are trained to spot even the tiniest imperfection. An oil has to pass both of these tests to be legally called extra virgin. So, because that extra virgin standard is so high, and because it can command a much higher price, it's created this massive incentive for fraud. And this is not a small problem. We're talking about a global scandal that has shaken the entire industry and, has deceived millions of us. Yeah, investigations have exposed just how deep this problem goes. For years, major, big name brands were systematically bottling inferior oil that would never, ever pass a real sensory test, and then just slapping an extra virgin label on it, knowingly breaking international law. A really common trick has to do with geography. Cheaper, high-yield olives from southern Italy get harvested, loaded onto trucks, and driven north overnight. And there, they're milled and bottled as premium Tuscan oil, which lets them charge a much higher price based on a completely fake origin story. It's a classic bait and switch. And the fraud shows up in a bunch of different ways. Sometimes it's as simple as mislabeling a lower-grade oil, but other times it's way more sinister. They actually mix the olive oil with cheap vegetable oils like soybean or canola. They might lie about where it's from, or, and this is a big one, they might just sell you oil from last year's harvest. That's old and rancid, which means it has none of the health benefits you think you're paying for. So after hearing about all that fraud, you might be thinking, geez, why even bother? Well, here's why. Because authentic, real extra virgin olive oil isn't just tasty, it's one of the healthiest foods on the entire planet. The benefits are just profound, and they are exactly what you lose when you end up with a fake bottle. The absolute star of the show here is something called oleic acid. It's a monounsaturated fat, and it makes up most of the oil. This is that famous good fat at the heart of the Mediterranean diet. The one that helps lower bad cholesterol and cut the risk of heart disease? Okay, get ready for this, because this fact is mind-blowing. Real extra virgin olive oil has a compound called oleocanthal, which is a natural anti-inflammatory. Just 2 tablespoons of a good oil has an effect that's similar to about 10% of an adult dose of ibuprofen. That peppery tickle you sometimes feel at the back of your throat from a really good oil? That's it. That's the oleocanthal working. And the benefits just keep on coming. It can help reduce stomach acid, it is packed with powerful antioxidants that protect your cells from damage, and it's essential for helping your body absorb all those crucial vitamins from the other healthy foods you're eating, like the greens in your salad. So the big question, how do you make sure you get the good stuff? It can feel a little overwhelming, I know, but just a few simple rules can help you navigate that grocery aisle and then protect your oil once you get it home. Okay, first, always look for a harvest or press date on the bottle. Olive oil is basically a fresh fruit juice. It does not get better with age. You want to use it within about 18 months of when it was harvested. Second, protect it from its enemies, light and heat. So always buy oil that's in a dark bottle or a tin. And just ignore labels like pure or light. Those are just code for a lower quality oil. And finally, if you can, buy from a specialty shop where the staff actually knows their stuff and can help you out. And buying it is only half the battle. To keep that amazing fresh flavor and all those health benefits, you have to store it right. Keep it in a cool, dark cupboard. Please, never next to the stove where the heat will just destroy it. And keep that cap screwed on tight because oxygen is another enemy. Oh, and a pro tip, if you buy a big tin, pour a smaller amount into a bottle for your daily use to keep the rest of it sealed up and fresh. So the next time you open a bottle of olive oil, don't just pour it. Just pause for a second. Smell it. Give it a little taste. Now that you know its entire story, from the grove all the way to your table, you can appreciate it in a whole new way. So what are you going to taste for? That peppery finish from the oleocanthal? Those fresh, grassy notes of an early harvest? Or maybe just the simple, satisfying taste of the real thing?